Petition. Martyn.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I rise to present a petition relating to the RBS closure in Linlithgow and East Falkirk. Now, my constituency boasts the largest electorate in Scotland, and following the announcement to close the Bathgate branch of the RBS, will have no remaining RBS branches in the constituency. Now, I think it's fair to say that banking has changed considerably over the last 25 years since I worked in the sector, and a pace of change which has increased since COVID, with many people finding online and digital banking more convenient. However, there remains a significant proportion of our community who do not do, for one reason or another, digital banking, and they will be at a serious disadvantage as a result. They do require face-to-face contact and good, ready access to cash. The petitioners therefore request that the House of Commons urges the Government to encourage the partially publicly owned NatWest to keep open their last remaining RBS branch in Linlithgow and East Falkirk to ensure residents have access to in-person banking provisions, and the petitioners remain, etc.
Petition, RBS bank closure in Linlithgow and East Falkirk.
Petition. Jessica Morden.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I present this petition on behalf of Colin and Janet Smith and Lynn Ashcroft from Newport East, who have spent many years fighting for their loved ones, victims of the contaminated blood scandal. Colin and Janet's son Colin died just aged 7, having received blood products contaminated with HIV and hepatitis C at just 10 months old. Just a few months before Colin's death, Lynn lost her husband Bill, who also contracted HIV through contaminated blood products. For years, both families, like so many others impacted by the disaster, faced discrimination. On Friday, Colin told me that 30 years ago, they would have been more likely to get a brick through the window instead of signatures of support, which makes this stack of paper I have here today even more important. There are almost 1,000 signatures from people across Newport East here, and they've all been collected by Laura Smith, the Smith's daughter-in-law, who deserves much thanks for doing it. It was collected with much love for Colin. The petition states, the petition of residents of the constituency of Newport East declares that people who received infected blood and who have suffered as a consequence have, along with their families, waited far too long for redress. The petitioners therefore request that the House of Commons urges the Government to implement the recommendations in the second interim report of the Infected Blood Inquiry without delay, and the petitioners remain, etc.
Petition, recommendations of the Infected Blood Inquiry.
Petition. Kevin Brennan.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I rise to present a petition on the same terms as that so eloquently presented by my honourable friend, the member for Newport East, just a few moments ago. I thank I thank the honourable member for Kingston upon Hull, I should say, who has led the fight for justice for victims of the infected blood scandal in this House. My constituent, Madam Deputy Speaker, Sue Sparks, lost her husband Les due to infected blood in 1990, leaving their 2 sons without a father. She has been tirelessly fighting for justice ever since.
Petition, recommendations of the Infected Blood Inquiry.
Petition. Sarah Jones.
Thank you. I rise to present a petition on behalf of my constituents in Croydon Central and on the same topic as my honourable friends from Newport East and Cardiff West, and on behalf of all those affected by the contaminated blood scandal. And I add my thanks to my right honourable friend, the member for Kingston upon Hull North, for her tireless work in pursuing justice. I'm presenting this petition with one constituent in mind who suffered for many years with undiagnosed hepatitis C as a result of having a transfusion of infected blood. She came to see me recently to help me understand the scale of this scandal, but also its human impact. Her stories and those of many more have been bypassed and overlooked for far too long. The petitioners therefore request that the House of Commons urges the Government to implement the recommendations in the second interim report of the Infected Blood Inquiry without delay.
Yeah.
Petition, recommendations of the Infected Blood Inquiry.